All right, you guys, I have a short update for you. So, my friend, Steve, he delivered my new train layout table. So, he constructed this. Don't mind the table on the floor there. That was the old table that had my old layout on it. I took the legs off of it and I scooted it underneath this much larger train layout. But, yeah, so as you can see, uh, he did this technique where he kind of charred the wood a little bit, and then I had him put a coating of poly on it, so that way, in case if I ever got it, I spilled something on it like glue or something, I could probably easily get it off before it causes any damage. So yeah, and as you can see, he made this cool little sign here that stands for Tumblerock Canyon Railroad, and he put these old-fashioned looking nails in it. These flat-headed nails. One of them he purposely bent out of shape. Looks really cool. So the whole layout here. This is the new one. It's 4 feet by 8 feet. And yeah, as you can see, I have one of my trains running on it. It's right now going over the area that will later be the canyon. I'm hoping to install a 5-inch tall trestle bridge, so it'll sit about an inch or two taller than where this train is running right now. Um, yeah, so anyway, when I have the final layout done, the curve will, the train will come out from about right here, make this really broad turn over here. And I plan to put a very large mountain right there. And it'll come up about maybe 18 inches, so probably from your perspective, like right there, that's me in the mirror, hello. Um, yeah, so I actually really love this thing. And I've been using this test track here that you've probably seen in my previous updates, just to kind of run the trains and see, how they do on this layout. And so far, really nicely. It is very even. And the only thing, though, is that my tile floors are not even. This is a very old apartment building, and the concrete has settled, so I think the layout is actually tilting a little bit that way. Which kind of explains why the train goes a little bit faster as it goes that direction, but then when it comes back this way, it goes a little bit slower. Thankfully, though, it hasn't been a problem for the engine. So I think at this moment it's about to go up the grade, and it starts to slow down just a tiny bit. But this is kind of cool because I can finally give you some nice shots of the train since it's not on the floor anymore. It's a very squeaky locomotive, and believe me, I have taken some train lubricant and lubricated all of the areas that I could. Unfortunately, I have not been able to get rid of that squeak. And sometimes the squeak gets so loud after running it for like maybe 20, 30 minutes. The squeak is so loud it's unbearable. So another cool thing about this train layout table is that it's on wheels. It's on 3-inch casters. That's one of them right there, and there's four of them. But what's really neat, and I wish I could show you, but this thing is really heavy. So if I want to transport this layout, what I can do is I can have a friend help me, and we lift up the actual table off of the legs. The legs are a separate framework unto themselves. And when you lift the table off the legs, they stay standing because of this wooden beam here is designed to fold. As you can see, it's already kind of folded a little bit. And it's supposed to keep the legs upright, so you can sit the train on top of the legs. And there's he built these little pockets. You can kind of see right here. This is the top of one of the center leg poles right there, and it sits in between these pieces of lumber here. So as you can see, the whole layout is just sitting on top of the legs like that. And so you can remove the layout, and then the legs kind of fold in accordion-like, and then you can transport it that way. It's really neat, and I'm so thankful he did that because, with the help of a friend, I can easily fold this thing up and transport it if I need to. But however, the table itself is one solid piece. He offered to make it so I can break it up into two separate pieces, but I told him I don't want to do that because I've seen a lot of people who make their layouts so they can be taken apart or cut in half or something, and the weird thing is people install seams, So let's say this seam here with the wood is on the actual layout, and it just looks weird. It makes the layout look like it's not a real place. Like there isn't naturally a seam in the ground, in the middle of a grassy field, So, yeah, so I made sure to tell him that I just wanted the board to be one solid piece, and I'll design everything so it's one solid piece. It fits in and out of my front door very easily. So, yeah. So you can also see my current inventory of cars. The train running in the background is my passenger train, obviously. I still have my Christmas locomotive here, though I might be giving that to a friend because he's expressed interest in having that locomotive, and frankly, I don't really need it. And it still needs more cleaning because it's not running smoothly. But behind that, I have my Porter locomotive and the 2 gondola cars pulling the caboose. I plan to buy at least 2 boxcars for that whole train as well, because that little locomotive can do it. It can pull the 2 boxcars, 2 gondolas, and the caboose. So that's what I'm going to do. As you can see, there's the cars with their flickering lights. I discovered why they're flickering, actually, because if you notice, the 4th car doesn't flicker that much. And I realize it's because the other 3 cars came from the old set, which was extremely dirty. I remember scrubbing every single wheel on this train. And I believe I didn't scrub the axles that clip to the trucks. So I think the axles are dirty, and I'll need to clean that if I want to have consistent light. That's not a big deal. I can always do that. But yeah. So more about this layout. So the layout will be shaped, the tracks will be shaped like a B, the letter B. So it'll come around this way. It'll make a very tight curve, and right about where the end of that green box is, will be the edge of that curve. And then it'll come inward like this a little bit, and then it'll go back out right to where that track is, just about. And then there'll be a spur line which goes out this way to hold to store the passenger cars. And right about here will be a switch track which goes off that way. That will do the spur line for the engine house housing both engines, and then a little track that goes that way to house the freight train. So as of this moment, I only have plans for 2 trains, this passenger train and the freight train. I might invest in getting some passenger excursion cars, because this will be kind of like a tourist railroad. So if you can imagine like a set of gondola cars that have benches in them, Bachman actually sells them. But anyway, the point is that right where these buildings are, or I'm sorry, right where these boxes are, will be buildings. This will be where the town will be, and then over this way will be the start of the rock work and some of the infrastructure buildings, such as the engine house and other various structures. And then over here will be the natural scenery with the giant mountain separating everything, some caverns here in the corner, a big canyon right here with some streams running underneath the trestle bridge. And yeah, that'll be the basic idea of this layout. So, there'll be some videos to come showing you the train running. Oh, all the trains running, in fact. But yeah. So I'm really excited about this. I hope you are too. And I will also be documenting the construction of the layout. Anyway, this has been Alex the Railroader. Hope you've enjoyed this little update. And yeah, see you later.